In this exercise, we're going to discuss the recommended workflow for new users starting a new assembly. So to start with, we're going to come up here to the top and we're going to say new. And we're just going to pick the standard IAM. If you know that you were going to go into a metric design, or you may have your company's own templates in here, feel free to use your company templates if you have your company template in here. And then that way we can just hit create. So now we're ready to start placing parts. So we come up here and we go to the place command. And I drill down to where my parts are stored. I have these base parts, for example. I don't have to just place one. You know, say this was going to be like legs on a table or something. I could place 4 of them at one time. For this, of course, I only need one. So now I have my parts here. Say maybe I want to create a new part and call it lid. And I can tell Inventor where I want it to store it underneath my working folders. I'm actually going to call this one lid-2. It's going to be underneath my parts, underneath my working folder there. It's going to be a standard IPT. Say OK. So I have to create a new sketch. And I'm going to create it on top of that reservoir that's already there. Then I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say project geometry, just like we did before with the parts. I want to make sure I get that outer edge there. Say finish. Extrude. Say 0.125. Okay. Return and I'm done. It was that simple. Turn off my plane there. Notice I didn't even have to put a dimension in other than the thickness of the lid. And I'm ready to go. Inventor is that smart. It understands what I'm doing there. So now I could come into Content Center, for example, and start placing some screws. I know this is going to be an ISO screw. Say OK. And looky there. Not only did it figure out where the screws need to go based on that design, it also figured out what size they needed to be. It automatically sized them from the holes that were already put in, and it understood that those holes were a pattern, so it put them in there. So now I could place more components from Content Center, I could create more components, and go on in that fashion until I get everything in there that I want. It's kind of apply, lather, rinse, and repeat. Same kind of thing. So we start applying parts, we lock them down, we constrain them, and we repeat that until we get our assembly created the way we want it to. It is that straightforward, it is that simple. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on this, so I don't think you should follow along at this point. We'll go through this in detail later on. I just wanted you to see kind of a real basic workflow and how this works.